boys and girls. Hope you enjoyed that story about snippets. And now we're going to make our own artwork using paper, and we're going to make some snippets. And even though right now we're going to be using scissors and glue, I'd like for you to warm up your fingers. So go ahead and rub your hands together. Wiggle your fingers, open and close. Roll your wrists one way and gently roll them the other. Now this project, we're going to be using paper that we cut out. We're going to create artwork. It's called a collage. And just like our story snippets, I'm going to use some shapes that look regular shapes, like squares and rectangles and triangles. And I'm also going to use some snippets that don't look like regular shapes, but they're still shapes that we can use to make our artwork. So we're going to get started. This is the paper that I'm going to glue on. I like to turn my paper this way, but I'm going to start by cutting shapes out of this. So these are the colors that I have, and you can use whatever colors that you want, but I'm going to make my artwork using these colors right here. Now you can start by drawing your shapes on your paper and then cutting them out if you want to. That's up to you. If you like to do it that way, you can. I'm just going to use my scissors and start cutting. And remember, scissors we have to be careful with. You want to cut only the paper. You want to make sure that you keep your scissors on top of the table all the time and that they're always moved out of your way. You don't put your scissors on the table open. We always close our scissors and lay them on the table. So make sure that you're safe with scissors and that you're making good choices with your scissors. So I'm going to start by cutting some shapes out of my paper. So I'm going to cut this rectangle shape right here. And remember, when you're using scissors and you're cutting paper, sometimes it's easier if you move the paper around to cut rather than trying to move your scissors around. Sometimes it's easier if we're cutting shapes this way. So I'm going to cut different shapes out with my paper. I'm going to make a picture. I'm going to make a picture like in our story, but I'm going to use all different kinds of shapes. So I'm going to cut some of these shapes out right here, and then I'm going to switch and cut some more shapes out. So I'm going to cut those out. I'm going to lay my green to the side. I'm going to put my shapes right over here, and I'm going to come back and use those. So I'm just going to keep cutting different shapes out. You do the same. I'm not even going to cut the same shapes out of each color. I'm going to cut different shapes out. I'm just going to see what I can come up with as I'm cutting. And I have like this little spot that wouldn't let go, so I'm just going to barely cut that and pull that off. So you cut several shapes out. You just keep cutting different shapes. I'm going to put those over to the side. I'm going to have a big blue shape. I'm going to use this big blue shape right here. I'm going to use some other shapes. Now you might want to cut as you go, and that's okay. I'm cutting several shapes out to start with. And no, I've got some snippets. Remember our story. I've got a few different shaped pieces of paper. I have big paper. Your paper is probably a little bit smaller, and it might be a little bit easier to cut out. Okay, might come back and cut out some more shapes in just a few minutes. But this is the paper that I want to glue on. I'm going to start with my big blue shape. And I think I want to put it kind of right here. And like in our story, they made houses. I'm going to make one big house and then a scene next to it using my paper. So I've got my glue. And remember, put the glue all over the back of your work. So I'm just gonna add some glue back here. Use whatever shapes you want. You can make whatever kind of picture you want, but try to use all different kinds of shapes in there. Shapes that look like squares and rectangles, but even those are regular snippets. See if you can use some of those in there too. So I've got that glued down. Okay, that shape seems really big right there. So let's see what other shapes. Oh, I've got this. Maybe that would make a nice front door, do you think, boys and girls? I think I might use this one. I might use this shape right here for a front door. And then, and look, it might be a little off there, but that's okay. And I've got this rectangle. I think I want my front door to have a little bit of a roof on it. So I'm going to use this shape right here. I'm going to put that there for my front door. And with this house, see if these will match up. I'm going to make windows that look different. Oh, look, I could put this. It doesn't quite cover my roof, but maybe I could put it up a little bit higher. Let's see. I'll have to decide how I want it to look. Or I might be able to add this and then maybe put this on top of it for a roof, maybe. I think that looks kind of nice. I think I might do that. So I kind of like the way that looks. I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. You might want to lay all of your work on your paper and glue next. That's also a way to do it. Sometimes it's easier if we lay everything and then glue because it's hard to pull it back up, or you can glue as you go. It's up to you, boys and girls, however you want to do it. So then I've used a snippet and a triangle shape right there. And now I want to add some windows, and look, I'm trying to make some different kind of windows. I'm trying to see if I can match some of these up a little bit and maybe make a window. Oh, those kind of match. Maybe make a window that's kind of like this, where I'm using those shapes a little bit differently. That's a little different than what I would use for a window, which I like to try different things in my artwork. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that one there. Then I'm going to put some glue here. I'm going to go ahead and glue this one right here. I'm going to make that a window right there. And then I might want to add some other things. Maybe I want to have a little pathway, but I don't know if I want my pathway to be the same color as my house. I'm going to look and see what other shapes I have here. Oh, I have this little nice orange color. I'm going to put that right there. Let's see. I could make my pathway different colors because I have some of these triangle shapes. And I could make it a little bit different like this, where I make them come off. Make a pathway that kind of looks like that, where I'm using all my snippets together. Could do that. I'm going to leave that there, not glue it down yet. I'm going to look and see what else I can come up with. Maybe I want to have a tree. Maybe I want my tree to be this orange color. I know I have a green circle. I can make a green circle tree, but I think I kind of want to do an orange. Maybe it's the fall in my picture and the leaves have already turned, so I'm going to do that. And then I think I'm going to give it a blue trunk here. Kind of like the way that looks together. And it's going off my paper, which is okay. I can trim it later, or I can add some more things. If it goes off my paper, it's okay. So I'm going to try to add a few more things to my picture here. I still want to put a path, so it looks like I should cut some paper to make a path. And I think I'm going to take, I have this rectangle shape that I had cut out, so I think I'm going to cut it a little bit and make a pathway, or it might look like grass in your picture. It's whatever you want it to be. So I'm going to kind of make it go across my paper here. I'm going to glue that down right here. These rectangle shapes right here across my paper. So I'm using lots of different shapes. I'm going to add some more glue. That one didn't want to stick today. I'm going to add some glue to this one. And put this one down right here. Put that one right there. Let's see. Okay, so boys and girls, you can just keep cutting your shapes different ways. You can cut them down. So I'm going to try to make this a little bit And then I wanted to make another, I'm going to cut this down a little bit more because I would like to make another window here. Or I could just make that a triangle window if I would like. I'm going to put that right there. You can have a chimney on your house if you want to. You don't have to. But you see what you can make with all of your shapes and your snippets? We're going to use whatever we have in front of us. I might even want to add a little bit of design to my house by using some of these little snippets right here. This might make my picture very interesting to add some of these little shapes right here. So I'm just going to glue those down. Remember, your picture isn't going to look like my picture. You're doing whatever you want to do, and you can watch me do mine as you're doing yours if you want to, but you make whatever you want to make with your cut paper, your collage. We call that a collage when we cut things out and glue them down. If you don't have colored construction paper, you can use junk mail too. Anything that comes in the mail, you can cut it up and use it. If your grown-ups say it's okay, go ahead and use that. I think I'm gonna cut out a shape for a bird and put it in my tree. So I'm gonna cut this shape out. I'm gonna glue it right there. Then I'm gonna give it some wings. I can use this and cut it into different shapes and give it a wing right here. And glue that down. So you go ahead and finish your picture. I hope you enjoyed our snippets, and I will see you next time.